Not accepted.
What I'm trying to say with that title is that since the time we got our computers in our hands, a long time ago, we keep using it using our screens, right? And what we can see on our screens is basically a 2D projection of whatever is in there, right? Everything we see is on the screen. It's flat, right? And my aim here is to tell you that maybe it's time to break through that glass and go into the virtual world or extended world so that we can actually live with all those informations and data and content that is in there. Briefly about me, I'm Rafał Legiędź. You can find me on the internet by the name of Rafał. I'm a software engineer at Avenga, doing lots of things. But one of the things is being responsible for whatever mixed reality stuff is happening and someone is trying to achieve or develop a solution for augmented reality or virtual reality. I'm also a Microsoft MVP in mixed reality category and a co-founder and organizer of the conference called DevConf. So let's start with the basics because, well, I keep talking about virtual and augmented reality since 2017 at conferences around the world. And mainly I'm talking to people, like technical people. And to my surprise, there's also some group of people that still misunderstand that topic. Mainly, they do not know the key differences between this and that. So I decided I will be doing one slide about key differences. So VR is, how many of you have used a VR headset? Okay, but that's not all of you. So VR is when you put a headset on your head and basically all the real world is occluded. And everything you can see is rendered by that device, be it a device itself or a computer that the device is tethered to. So everything is artificial. Your brain is tricked into thinking that you're in a different world, right? And you interact with that artificial world. Augmented reality, on the other hand, is when you put a headset on or use your handheld device, and you can actually see the real world that is around you, but this world is enhanced with 3D content that is attached here and there, or floating in front of you. So this is the big difference. And, well, I meet also a lot of skeptics, like people who tried Google Glasses 11 years ago, or first Oculus Rift 10 years ago or 15 years ago. How many of you have tried Google Glasses, or how many of you have heard about Google Glasses? Yeah, the hype was real. Like Google introduced Google Glasses and everyone thought that, hey, finally augmented reality has arrived and our life will change. But that didn't happen. It was way too early. And I know some people that tried it a long time ago, and they usually say, hey, I've seen all of that. I've seen AR, I've tried VR. I mean, we've seen it already, so it's not going to happen. But, well, the aim of this talk is to show you that the world has moved forward, and lots have changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that all the big tech companies are actually investing heavily into AR and VR. And let's start with Facebook. Everyone likes Facebook, right? So Facebook at Oculus Connect 2019, which is now called Facebook Connect, because Facebook bought Oculus several years ago, for those who didn't know. And actually, John Carmack, the guy responsible for like Doom or Wolfenstein 3D, was a CTO of Oculus until 2016 or 17, not sure until when. But Facebook right now hires around 10,000 people who are working on AR and VR products. Oculus Quest is one of the best VR devices out there right now. How many of you have tried Oculus Quest 1 or 2? Not many of you. I highly advise to try it. And it's called Oculus, but you have to know that it's Facebook, actually, that is the man behind the curtain. And the thing is, to give you a comparison, when first iPhone was released, throughout its lifetime, it's been sold in 6 million something copies, first iPhone. And that was a big change, right? iPhones to the world, to the technology. So Oculus Quest 2 was released in autumn 2020, and until first quarter of 2021, so around half of the year, it sold in more than 5 million copies. Right? It's an amazing device. It's the best VR headset like so far. Even if you would compare it to PSVR from Sony, which was the best consumer VR headset before, it sold 5 million copies in 5 years, from 2016 until now. And Oculus Quest 2 did that in half of the year, which is kind of amazing. Also, so not many of you tried Oculus Quest 2, but it's basically a VR headset, which is a standalone headset, so you do not need a computer to use it, right? It has basically a powerful Android phone inside, and that's the whole platform. It's cheap because it's below $300, so it's easy for them to sell it and distribute it. So, what's more, Facebook keeps adding features to it. Like, they roll out software updates like every single month. And those are not like bug fixes only. They release like proper new features every single month. To give you an example, I'm going to show you some videos of it. So first sample would be hand tracking. So this is hand tracking feature in a VR headset, which is kind of amazing. The only thing that is there that unlocks it are those four cameras on the headset, and the software does the rest. And you can actually use it. The other cool feature, the newest one, this is an experimental API that was released to the developers, is the pass-through AR, which basically means you have a VR headset, but through those cameras on the headset, you get the video stream of whatever those cameras see, and then you can add an AR layer on top of it. The video stream from those cameras is still black and white, but as I said, it's experimental right now, so that developers can jump on it and try new things.
With my real furniture. Oh my gosh.
So that woman is trying it out. Hold on a sec. So we can see that there's some 3D content, and it's interacting with physical objects, right? This is especially exciting because with other AR headsets, which have this complicated pass-through optics, like Hololens, there are some hardware limitations to it. It's very hard to achieve like wide field of view, for example. But in this case, well, you have those cameras and you have screens in front of your eyes. It's a whole different problem. So if they move it forward, they will achieve a really cool effect for AR. Some other cool thing I wanted to show you is something which is called Infinite Office. So one of the projects for Oculus Quest is Infinite Office. So it's basically where you can select a table within your office, and it's going to be bring into the VR world, and then they're working on detecting the keyboards, for example. And this keyboard is Logitech K830. Hold on. And you can work within VR, and you can set up like multiple screens and just simply work, right? You can see your hands, and you can see the keyboard that is being shown to you for the pass-through. And this is actually a nice example of something which is called augmented virtuality, namely virtual world which you extend with real objects, like this keyboard that is being brought into this virtual world. So this is one of the Facebook's projects, to create this infinite office where you work a whole day on the VR. Some other cool features of Oculus Quest is like, with only software updates, they unlocked, for example, 120 Hz for the screens, or error link, which is something like you can run your VR game on your computer, right? But it's being streamed to the headset with no cables. So you have an untethered VR headset with the power of your PC standing next by. Other company, so we had Facebook, now Microsoft. Microsoft invested in AR like a long time ago. You probably all remember Kinect. How many of you remember Kinect? It was a big hype a long time ago, 10 years ago. And actually, it's when I think it all started, probably even earlier. But Kinect, there was then Kinect 2. It's now discontinued, but then they released HoloLens 1, HoloLens 2, which are the headsets, AR headsets, like proper AR headsets, because that's the headset that you put on your head, and you have a pass-through glasses, so you actually see the world around you. And then you have holographic screens in front of you, and the 3D content is somehow placed in this real world. How many of you, have you ever tried HoloLens, 1 or 2? How many of you? Not many. Yeah, I'm not surprised. This is a enterprise device. It's not meant to be used by consumers. There are no consumer-faced apps for this device. But it's a great piece of engineering, really, really advanced one. And it's also untethered, so it's a computer by itself. It has batteries, etc., and a bunch of sensors so that it knows where the walls are, floor, ceiling, etc. And of course, the biggest problem here is the optics. So they can't achieve wider field of view. It's not like you put this headset on and you can see the virtual content here, and there, because you can't see it. The only place where you see the 3D content rendered by the device is in some kind of invisible window where it's being rendered. And this is the biggest issue right now with those kind of devices. But Microsoft also invests a lot in software development for those kind of experiences. One of it is MRTK, which stands for Mixed Reality Toolkit. It's a toolkit, software toolkit, that helps us developers create augmented and virtual reality experiences. And it looks like this. So this video is recorded from the HoloLens 2. That toolkit is written in C#, allows you for using those kind of building blocks to create experiences. What's more, this toolkit is open source and cross-platform. So even if you don't have HoloLens 1 or 2 or Oculus Quest, you can start creating those kind of experiences for your Android and iOS phones, right? And this is a single code base, so you can write one code base, and it could run on HoloLens and also on iPhones. This feels like Minority Report, doesn't it? It's on GitHub, so it's very, very simple to use. So I highly advise, if you're interested in developing such things, or in the future developing such things, start learning Unity, which is an environment for creating 3D content, 3D applications. Use C# and Unity to write software. Also, okay, that's too long. One of the cool features of HoloLens 2 is that they have, in the hardware, you have eye tracking. So, for example, this text is scrolled in a way that when you read the text, your eyes move down, and when the device detects that your eyes move down, it automatically scrolls the text. So you don't have to scroll it manually. The other thing that Microsoft is working on is Microsoft Mesh.
To find those who share our views, yet offer different perspectives.
This is also
Over here.
Challenge us with new ways of seeing.
kind of an SDK for creating presence and shared experiences for
Deepen our
VR and AR. And it's available in the form of their own app. You can download Microsoft Mesh for Hololens, for example. But also you can,
Great things
I mean,
happen
that's the
when
private
we
beta
connect to
right
something
now,
bigger than
the
ourselves.
SDK, but also you can employ this technology into your own applications. And that consists of like holoportation or collaboration or bringing people together from like VR and AR and teleporting them into your virtual world.
Just in time. I'm going to move it slightly, okay?
It's yours, take it.
We have 2 planes right now on the same trajectory.
As we put people first, technology fades into the background and feels like anything but.
Aisha, what do you think?
I think if we had 330, maintaining
So for example, here,
we'll be clear for approach.
hold on.
Excellent.
The person
changes
in
the way we see
VR
the
headset can be in a
and in
distant
turn,
location, but
changes the world
she's
we
being
see.
brought to the AR experience in the form of an avatar, right? And everyone can collaborate. Next up is Apple. Well, Apple is expected, obviously with the rumors, that they will release some kind of an AR or VR headset in 2022 or 2023. Those are still rumors, but you never know. Well, it's all based on patent filings that they're doing or the hiring process that they're doing as well, because they're hiring lots of people, experienced people in AR and VR. Also, you can see that in the newest iPhones and in iPad Pro, they've added LiDAR sensors, which helps a lot for creating augmented reality experiences because it's a way better depth sensing for the device. Okay. What's really interesting about Apple is that they have more than 1 billion AR-enabled devices out there in the world right now. So essentially, they have the largest platform for deploying AR right now, which is really interesting. And that platform is available for us developers like right now. We can jump on it, right? And use their technologies, use their frameworks, SDKs, to learn and see how we can leverage AR and be prepared for whatever they would release in the future when it comes to AR. They have, as I mentioned, they have a set of tools. I've put icons here. It's called AR Kit, Reality Composer, Reality Kit, Object Capture. Object Capture is actually one of the newest features. They use photogrammetry for creating 3D objects. So you can by yourself, using iPhone, you can do, you can, for example, take a physical thing, make like 20 to 200 pictures of it, like around it, and with a simple command line tool on your macOS, you can create a 3D object of it. And then you could have a 3D representation of it on your computer, and you can use it in your experiences. Which helps a lot, because we need to be able to create 3D objects quick and automatically, right? I have a video here as well. So when it comes to AR Kit, that's a framework for creating AR experiences for iOS. They have recently they've added like a bunch of cool features, like, for example, object occlusion for people. So you see, for example, that toy, the big toy, or the chess. Hold on a second. So the chess is, for example, rendered here. And if you, hold on a second again. So if the real person stands behind the virtual content, that physical thing, real thing, is occluded by the virtual thing. That's a big thing, actually. Also, they've added like motion capture for tracking skeleton joints. It works pretty well. And also, they've like shadows, nice materials, and ambient lighting so that your virtual content in the physical world looks really immersive. It feels like they are actually a part of this physical world. And ARKit is it's the 5th version right now. It's really advanced, and I think it's the best framework for creating AR right now on the market. Next up is Google, of course. Well, they started with Google Glasses, but then they kind of stopped releasing AR devices, but they have Android phones. And for Android phones, we have something similar as for iOS. Apple has ARKit, and Android, Google has AR Core. It's essentially more or less the same, but for Android. So, but with the less set of features, I would say. But when it comes to Google, they're investing in AR, and you can see it in their own products, because they enabled AR features in their own products, like Google Lens, Street View, or Google Search. Sometimes when you search on your Android phone on the Chrome browser, the first search result could be a 3D object. I don't know, if you would look for an elephant, for example, you could see that elephant object on as the first item, and when you would click it on the phone, you would be able to place it on the floor in front of you. So that's something new. Of course, there are other companies, because I've just told you about like those big tech companies which has lots of money, lots of people, lots of resources to do such experiments. There are lots of other companies, and I mean like hundreds of companies out there that are trying to get into the hardware market of AR and VR. And for example, Nreal, the one below, they released Nreal Lite glasses, which is an interesting concept because there's no computing unit on the glasses itself. The computing unit is an Android device that you have with you, the phone, right? So you connect it to the phone, all computing is happening there. So you don't have to have this bulky headset, right? Maybe that's the way. There are other companies that are thinking even bigger. We might have seen that in movies like Black Mirror, for example, but there are companies that are doing experiments on augmented reality contact lenses. And you can see that, for example, in patent filings. Sony and Samsung have patents for contact lenses, but the most visible company is Mojo Lens, and what they're doing is this. Of course, that's a promo video, so it's not something that is available to buy. It's an early product.
To keep us more connected. But in surrounding ourselves with screens and devices, it feels as though we've lost something. Imagine if we could replace our screens with something that informs without distraction. Could we see differently, more clearly? Could it help us find that invisible edge when we need it most? Or allow us to connect in crucial moments, providing vital information in an instant? Introducing Mojo Lens, the world's first augmented reality smart contact lens. Put Mojo Lens on in the morning, and throughout your day, you'll have access to timely information without losing focus on the world around you. Mojo Lens is designed not to bombard you with data, but to elevate your vision by providing the information you need exactly when it's needed, all while letting you look like yourself. When it's not in use, the technology just fades away. We call this concept invisible computing.
Mojo's invisible computing solution will be a platform that gives you everyday superpowers and an invisible edge throughout your day. But before it does any of that, it first has to be a great contact lens that improves your natural vision even when it's off. Mojo Lens built-in display will give you augmented reality wherever you look. It even works with your eyes closed, putting you into an instant VR world.
The applications are nearly limitless, from being able to see in the dark or low-light situations, to augmenting your memory with instant information, showing you real-time translations, or giving you a virtual teleprompter. One of our first medical applications is using AR overlays like edge detection and contrast enhancements to help people with vision impairments such as glaucoma and macular degeneration.
Building the world's first AR contact lens is a systems engineering problem, and therefore we've had to innovate in many different areas. The Mojo Lens includes thin film, biosafe batteries to power the system, as well as motion sensors to enable the world's most accurate eye tracking. We've also developed an extremely low-power image sensor that's used for computer vision and scene detection. But at the heart of the Mojo Lens is the world's smallest and densest dynamic display. With this, we can display crisp text, photos, and video in a package that's less than 0.5 millimeter in diameter. We are often asked, how do you control Mojo Lens? And the answer is with your eyes. It turns out that your eye is an extremely accurate pointing device. With our built-in eye tracking in each lens, we believe we've unlocked the ultimate hands-free user interface.
That looks cyberpunky, doesn't it? But, well, those are all concepts and plans and experiments. The last time I read about it is you can actually put it in your eye, and the only thing you can see is green text or green picture, as we've seen briefly on the video. But still, this thing is happening. To add more on top of it, there are of course predictions on the market, how big is VR and the AR market, and numbers are actually promising. Video games and video entertainment is kind of an obvious thing, because of all the VR games and entertainment. But for us, I assume that most of us are enterprise developers. The interesting part of this pie is this one, where there's actually lots of money in business, the actual business. And me being in this part of the industry for quite a while, I could see lots of needs in manufacturing, engineering, construction, healthcare, etc. And there are lots of companies out there in the world that are doing such things. And businesses are slowly but steady tapping into this. And they're trying to understand how this kind of technology can help them, getting the business better. So let's briefly go through the history, so that you would understand better why am I talking about AR and VR. If you're old enough, you probably remember when first computers arrived. That was the first digital transformation. That's how it was called. And basically, we got computers in our hands, and we started to digitalize things, mainly text. Then the second digital transformation happened, and that's when we were given GUIs, graphical user interface, and the internet. And you probably remember that transformation. That was like in the 80s and 90s. Then smartphones and social media happened, right? I'm pretty sure every one of us remember this transformation. I mean, you remember times before smartphones and social media, hopefully. And you are aware how many things in our life changed because of smartphones and social media. A lot, right? And right now, what is happening is fourth digital transformation. With the verge of those technologies listed here, like edge computing, AR, VR, wearables, blockchain, cloud, IoT, 5G, AI, the new computing platform is being created out there. And as all of them except AR and VR are getting lots of coverage in the media, in technical press, and blogs and conferences, my aim here is to talk a lot about AR and VR because I do believe that it's a crucial part of this next computing platform. But despite, or a part of those hardware struggles that all the devices have, mainly optics and computing power, et cetera, I mean, assume we solved it. Let's put it on the side. There are other struggles that need to be overcome to fully implement AR or VR experiences. Namely, we need to have a platform so that, okay, maybe differently. It's like the internet in the 90s. I mean, we have a bunch of websites. We could use it. They were all kind of connected to each other. But the thing we missed was we weren't able to create much content on the internet. We weren't able to collaborate with others. And we weren't able to share whatever we did, right? It's the Web 2.0 that changed all of that. The same thing is happening right now in AR and VR. We kind of are by ourselves. We can't collaborate a lot. So the thing is to solve it somehow so that we could share our virtual space with people that are around us or people that are in other locations so that we could work on the same 3D stuff or same set of information and that it would be common, right? Cross-platform and accessible for everyone. And that's where a term AR cloud or metaverse or mirror world or digital twin comes in, or spatial web. Essentially, we need to create a digital twin of the world, of all the things, digitalized things, not text or information, like physical things, so that we could implement collaborative AR or VR. So basically, it's moving the internet from the screen to the real world, so that we're surrounded by the internet. And there's this nice definition from one book. It's basically the spatial web. World Wide Web was like websites linked together. Spatial web would be everything linked together, right? And I might surprise you, or not, all the big companies are working on it. So let's start with Facebook. Facebook, at the same conference as they announced that they're working on the AR glasses, they also announced something which is called Life Maps. And Life Maps is basically what I've just described. They try to map the world, map the spaces, locations, objects, and create the software and hardware so that it will understand it, what is going on around, so that we could all be in there, collaborate, and understand, and for our devices to understand where we are and what we're looking at, etc. Recently, even Mark Zuckerberg announced that Facebook is going to be, the aim of Facebook is to be a metaverse company within 5 years, right? Probably they know what they're doing, I guess. How they're going to achieve this? The first step was Project Aria, is Project Aria. This is not a consumer device. It's not even a prototype, but it is a research device that they released internally, and they've given it away to hundreds of Facebook workers and contractors, and they will go to like public spaces and places, and will try it out. They will scan things, walk around, and they will see what they can do with the data. So that's an early project. I think I have a video of it. That's from their
To achieve this, Live Maps uses machine perception to construct multi-layer representations of the world, showing where you are in space, recognizing what things look like, and understanding the intrinsic meaning of objects. Connected devices, like smartphones and AR glasses, will scan the surroundings to create a live dynamic index, amplified by crowdsourced data, allowing the maps to recognize when things have changed and update automatically.
So that's Facebook. Next is Microsoft. They have released already a product called Azure Spatial Anchors, and you can use it even today. It's on Azure, of course, in the form of a service. And they have SDK, cross-platform SDK, so you can deploy it on Android, iPhones, Hololens, etc. How does it work? Well, So you can designate a point with your device in the physical space, and your device would scan the area and create some kind of point cloud from the feature points that it detects. And this point cloud is uploaded to the cloud, Azure, and you can place something. For example, I would place a digital thing here. I don't know, an elephant, for example. And when some other party would come here with an app and scan the surroundings of this area, the point cloud generated would be uploaded to Azure, and if it would match, then that other person would get the coordinates of that exact point that I designated for my 3D content. And that 3D content could be rendered for that person. So we could collaborate on the same thing, right? When it comes to privacy, the whole computation happens on the device. So it's not like pictures are being uploaded to Azure of your locations, but point clouds. So it's kind of secure. To show you how it works, I also have a video. So you can run it on iPad, for example. You scan, you place thing. And this is something you can use today. It's also helpful for like leaving 3D content at certain point for later use, for example. Or you can do a city game, make a city game. Like you can place digital stuff around the city and give an application to users with a city game. Like let's find Pokemons hidden in the city, right? Or a sightseeing app. And it works really good. That's Microsoft. Next up is Apple. Actually, when I was giving this talk, similar talk, early 2020, it wasn't available. Apple didn't release that yet. But right now, it's actually a second iteration of it. It's called location anchors. And basically, you can place content based on longitude and latitude. But it's Apple, so it's not like you can do it everywhere. They released it for like a bunch of US cities, so you can place stuff in San Francisco, New York, etc. And also recently they unlocked London for it as well.
From the Scavenger application, built using the Location Anchors API. Scavenger hosts AR content at real-world locations and enables the creation of virtual public art installations and activities. It's a good example of how Location Anchors can power outdoor experiences as the world reopens. The Maps app is also introducing a new AR feature that uses the API in iOS 15. Let's take a look. This year, Maps is adding turn-by-turn walking directions shown in AR using the Location Anchors API. They incorporate several practices we recommend.
A navigation application. When you take your phone and instead of like being given flat directions, you have 3D signs placed somewhere in front of you so that you have a better information what's where. This is something also you can use today, but well, in all those bigger cities in US and London. Next up is Google, of course. I think they are the most advanced ones when it comes to scanning the world because they have Street View, so they already have like a bunch of photographs of the world, and they have visual positioning system, which basically when you would run something on your phone, the camera would see the surroundings, and it would somehow magically map it with whatever is on the street view, and then it can actually very precisely tell where you are and give you coordinates and stuff. And what they did with that actually is they fixed GPS, because GPS is not that accurate. And with feature points and matching them with whatever is there in the cloud, you can actually have a better position within physical world than with GPS. So it's not like it's open for everyone to use. We have a glimpse into that in Street View. You can enable live view in Street View and on your phone when in walking mode, and then you could have those 3D directions on the street.
No futzing with the phone. All the information on the map, the street names, the directions, right there in front of you. Notice that you also see the map, so that way you stay oriented. You can start to see nearby places, so you see what's around you.
A navigation map, you walk through the city, and all
just
of a
for
sudden
fun,
when you
our team's been playing with an idea of adding a helpful guide
next to some shops
like
or restaurants, you could have like
so that it can show you the way.
promotions or menu popping out from the store, right? And you can tap into it. And of course, there are a bunch of startups out there that are working on such things. Some of them are successful, some of them less successful. But for example, 6D AI, which was the most advanced one, was acquired by Niantic. Niantic is the creator of Pokemon Go. Probably all of you have heard about Pokemon Go. Scape, for example, also advanced ones, were acquired by Apple. So as you can see, there are a lot of companies that are investing in AR cloud. Also, there are associations like Open AR Cloud Association, which their aim is to drive this development of the metaverse or of the AR cloud. Because as we saw, there are lots of companies investing in it. Everyone is developing their own platform. I bet you have like lots of concerns in your head what could go wrong with that, right? So there are associations that are starting to work on guidelines or privacy concerns, etc., so that it would go into proper direction. So to wrap it up, if you're interested, you can start building such things today. And it's actually up to us if this technology is going to work for us or against us, right? It could actually give us superpowers that we don't have right now. For those interested as well, there are books about it, lots of them, but those three are my favorites. So I highly recommend to read it if you'd like to be inspired or get to know more about such technologies. And that's pretty much it. I'm open to questions. And thank you. Well, I mean, you can clearly see that there are many things that could go wrong, right? I mean, even with smartphones or social media, I mean, this could work for us, right? We can leverage in a good direction. It can give us more powers, like help in our daily lives. But also, there are evil people in companies out there that would like to leverage those technologies against us, right? And we as software developers, we are kind of a part of it, right? So we can choose which direction we want to go. And I mean, the same thing would happen with the AR and VR technology, right? Lots of things can go wrong and probably will, but lots of things will go into a good direction, and it will actually give us superpowers. If you'd recall for example, contact lenses, I mean, how amazing is that? But also, it might be awful, right? I don't know, seeing advertisements all the time in your eye. Well, it depends, right? We all saw Black Mirror, probably. So where there were a lot of examples of contact lenses and extending our world, and it was shown that things could be bad with those kind of technologies. What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand the question. So, synergy between the AR devices and edge computing, or? I think that, I mean, you mean how to connect all of the edge devices with the AR devices? Edge. Not sure how to answer that, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, how to... I mean, the AR device itself is an edge device, isn't it? Right? I mean, it will all communicate somehow through the internet and the cloud, so not sure what the problem is. Anyone? Yeah? Yep. Yeah. It's there. So actually, when it comes to Microsoft, for example, and Azure Spatial Anchors, the first iteration of it was basically sharing spatial anchors between devices, like peer-to-peer, as you say. So because this point cloud is actually a bunch of data. It's a byte array. So I actually implemented one of the solutions. So basically, you send to your peer this byte array, and the peer on its side, it recreates the point cloud and just matches it. So as simple as that. So the cloud thing is basically sharing this point cloud through the cloud so that it's easier, right? As simple as that. Yeah? Correct. Because it was too early. The technology wasn't there. I guess both. First, technology wasn't there, and the second, Google wanted to just release the glasses without like preparing people for such technology. So everyone was like excited and scared at the same time. But right now, as you see, with Apple and Google, for example, they are releasing AR for the phones. So we're getting used to it. So it's like this slope is lighter for the entry point is lighter with this kind of devices. And they like iteratively are developing better and better solutions. And Google Glasses were like, hey, here we have glasses. So I guess it's both. It's technology and it's people. There was a question here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure anyone has the answer to this, right? That's why, like Facebook, they have this project area, they're going to use it, they're gonna see the consequences, they're gonna see how to tackle the privacy concerns, etc. I don't know. It depends, right? It's the same with the phones, with smartphones. I mean, if you're old enough, you were in school or in public places, and you were sure no one is going to record you. But right now, if you do something stupid at the party, I mean, chances are you're going to be on YouTube, right? So those are the same privacy concerns, correct? That's it. Yeah, I mean, big companies like Toyota, Boeing, Airbus, they're all using AR and VR. So, I mean, I'm not going to show you that, but if you Google for it, it's out there. I was involved in projects for manufacturing that they were using Hololens on the factory floors. There's a company from Krakow, MedUp, who developed a Hololens application for heart surgeons, and they actually have several successful surgeries done with Hololenses on the surgeon's head. So yeah, there are actual implementations and solutions. Yeah. Well, when it comes to consumers, we don't have a consumer headset. So the only thing we have are Android phones and tablets and iPhones and iPads. So if you search for the App Store, you will see games and apps, AR apps for consumers, for the smartphones and tablets. But those are the only platforms right now for consumers. Any other question? Okay, thank you.